I'm gonna pop that hole in there. I got a piece of plywood underneath this, and this is a little Forstner bit here. None of my machines are big enough to reach to the center of this, so I got to do this one by hand. So I can see if I'm leaning off a little bit by looking at that hole. That's it. And these things cut they cut a pretty accurate hole actually. We'll see in a sec here. All right, so we're gonna just kind of do a little visual there. Scoot that back. The idea is that sits up off of that, like so. It's looking pretty tasty. Did I do something? Didn't look right. So I gotta check my math on something here. I don't remember how if I set this up to be on the table or on this. I'm pretty sure it's on this. No, actually I could do it like this. It's 1.5" minus 5. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I trimmed the outside of the template off now. And now what I want to do is I want to dress it to the line here. Real accurately about the center. So I have a through hole in the table here, and I made a bushing that fit the hole that I put in the plywood real well, and then this is just to hold it down so it doesn't pop up at all. And anyway, that bushing's bolted down flat to the table, and it fits the idea of this hole here. And then what I have over here is I got my router with a flush trim bit here and a bearing, and I got it on a little swinging arm here. So the idea here is this is kind of a giant rotary milling machine. What I'm going to do is I'll just bring this thing in on the pivot and come up to the line and then feed this through, and I'll get this really nice, the theory is I'll get this really nice trim all the way around, and the blocks that I've already put on here will guide they'll touch this bearing, so I won't go past anything there. So at least that's the idea. I'm going to bring the camera in closer to show this kind of from this spot right in here, because I think this will be the most interesting, potentially the most interesting spot right down in here. So anyway, yeah, this is just a stack of washers, and I got a Delrin bushing in there that's bolted down to the table all the way through the table, and just kind of keeping that in one spot. So that's what we're going to try on this guy, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so we're ready to do a test cut here. I decided to do a test cut on some scrap material here because I don't do a lot of woodworking, and I always forget, you know, if it's climb cut or conventional cut or whatever with these kinds of pieces of equipment. And so I just want to do a test cut and see how it does on this same material here. It looks pretty good. Push that back. Let's try the other direction and see how that works. So I'm gonna go with my first one here. It leaves less crap on the backside here. So that was, what is that? That's conventional. For us machinist folks, that's conventional milling. Okay. So yeah, I'll take a trim cut all the way around and knock off any high points so that the last cut will be as even as possible. Looks like a good place to start. Alright, well, that's pretty good. Not quite there. One of those cleats touched pretty good. That the one? See a little mark on that. Yeah. That's okay. That's the idea. In retrospect, it would have probably been a good idea to make these cleats a little oversized and cut everything all at once. That would have been the smart thing to do, but hey, you know what? Whatever. Right? Where's that one? Oh, there it is, right there. The bearing's turning. So this one here, that's the one. Okay. It's hard to get a measurement right now because you have to go across the center here, and I got something in the way. Although I suppose I could trim it off. Well, I know I got to go a little more, so I'm just going to go a little more. So one problem is if let's see, if I pull that off of there, I lose my bushing positioning. Does that matter? Because I'm just going to come in a little bit more. Yeah, so I think I'm going to unbolt it and then get a better measurement on it and see what I need to take off instead of just keep whittling away at it here. So okay, so couple more little passes and then I had to unbolt it from the fixture a couple of times to get a good measurement, but we're within 15 thousandths, it looks like, of the correct diameter. Alright, so now we got to do some milling on these here. So what we're doing is we're going to cut a groove in here that looks like this. And we're going to remove all that in each side of this. So the curve, the S bend spoke of the hand wheel, that blade at the end of that is going to sit in a recess here, and then we're going to weld that all the way around and fill that in. So I was going to just mill them out, but then, you know, this is pretty thick. This is 1.25 inches and this is 1.5 inches. I said, hey, why don't I just use my bandsaw and bandsaw some of that out of my way, right? Because the bandsaw is real efficient on this kind of stuff. You know, just hacking it out of your way. And basically, it's all getting welded anyway, so it's not a what I would call a precision thing. It just needs to be kind of in the center. And you see I'm going from both sides here, right? Which automatically kind of makes it symmetric, right? So even if I'm off a little bit on this dimension here, I end up being symmetric just by the nature of how I'm doing that. So we got to go in 1.5 inches. So that's actually a fair amount of material to get out of there. So that's kind of what our notch looks like there. And that's actually a pretty good bandsaw job, I think. So we'll bandsaw in along this line here and along this line here. What I can do is pre-drill these in the corners on the mill and just intersect into the... let's see, I'm still going to have to fuck around with that. Excuse my French there. Let's see, what's the cool way to do that? Well, I suppose I could just drill a big hole there and then bandsaw all the way into the corner and do that. Okay, well anyway, I think I'm going to bandsaw it. That's the bottom line there, and do it that way. Alright, so I figured out what I want to do. I'm going to drill a series of holes across the end of this, then I'll bandsaw most of that material out of there, and then that'll be it. So I'm going to get a careful start. I'm going to do the two ends first and then come back and do the middle in case it misbehaves while I'm drilling out that middle bit. I still got my corners good. Trying not to bonk the camera here. Alright, now we'll go back to the center there. Get a nice gentle start. That look like the center. I don't like the looks of that. I probably need to center drill it. I was trying to, I got a couple of these to do, so I was trying to find a quick way to get into that. I got a 1/2-inch spot drill here. At least I don't have to make a collet change, huh? So let's try that. All right. That looks better. I could, I said it before, I could just mill it out of there, but it's actually a lot of, I got 5 segments and 2 ends per segment. That's a pretty large volume of material to come out of there, so I'm just trying to think of a clever way to save myself some work there. Yeah. All right. So much for that. I could use a smaller drill, but not going to cooperate there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I just got to get through this one here. I'm going to create a flat spot that I can get a smaller drill started on, or get a decent start on. You try to cut a fat hog, right? And sometimes it bites you in the hog, right? All right. So now I got a better starting point now. Alright, back to the other one. Spot drill this sucker. So I'm trying to get 2 things out of this. I'm trying to get a reasonably sharp corner and the metal out of my way quickly. Alright, 750, that's my middle. It all gets covered with weld, so it's kind of one of those, you could almost cut it out of there with a torch, but then you'd have distortion and whatnot, so. Alright. So I think we will. Yeah, it looks conservative. Let's go with that. That's why you have those no-spill oil cups, right? When you knock them off the milling machine, they don't spew all over the floor. All right, let's try that. I don't think that's gonna work, guys. It's already one. The initial holes must have drifted a little too, but I could see this drill. It's wanting to push off towards that other hole. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna fly. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, so let's go over to the bandsaw because I know I can do this on the bandsaw. I got the two corner holes in, so it's just a little extra bandsaw on this particular one. Okay, you can see I cut a couple pieces of plywood here and clamped them to this just to help me hold this thing up while I run it into the bandsaw there. So it's just kind of a sled that gives me a hand just supporting the thing in so I can guide it nice and straight. It's hard to see the line there. All right, so I changed my tune a little bit here. This is a regrind 5/8 fine flute carbide roughing end mill, so I'm using that to cut it. It's just a lot less gyrations. I thought I would be more efficient using the bandsaw, but the pieces are just a little too awkward for that. This would be a good horizontal mill job with a big round cutter, slab cutter or whatever that was the right width, and you could lay the part down sideways and do it that way, or do it in the vise, whatever. But we're just going to whittle it away with this guy here. So we got to take a few passes at it and then do the sides a little bit because this is a regrind here. I'm going to back this camera up a little bit, guys. I know you want to see close, but I want to keep my camera too. I don't want to have to buy a new camera, so. I'm just feeding this by hand, about 1,000 RPM. Now the chips they're tan colored, or almost tan. That's pretty good speed. Probably could go a little faster, but I want to preserve the end mill. I got a lot of these to do, so. Alright, so and then we have to move side to side a little bit to clean up the sides for the width. And it's about 25 thousandths, something like that. I gotta ease it in because it's a full cut, the full height of the cutter. I gotta ease it into that corner, that's why it's squeaking in there. And then this is my gauge here to make sure that everything fits. So, okay. Anyway, that's it. Rinse and repeat. I got 2 ends and 5 of these. That's 10 of these to do. I've done like 4 of them already.